Greetings, this is Daniel Tal from PlaceMaker, and I am going to show you and excited to show you our new version of PlaceMaker that works in your browser. And I have it open right here, and I quickly just navigated to Asheville. We have a very easy to navigate address system now that works great. And I'm going to go through all the different features and how this works. Most importantly is that you can now download this data into pretty much any one of the apps you want to use, whether it's Rhino, Max, even AutoCAD, GIS files, and we'll go through how that system works with using Asheville as an example. First, let me explain navigation. I'm using my mouse and I can zoom in. If I'd like to select the area, I'm going to take my mouse, I'm going to left click once, drag, and then I can import and then left click again. And now that selects my location, in this particular in Asheville. I also have these grips that I can adjust the size. And then also these additional dots that you see on the outside, these other grips, that basically let you start tiling areas if you want to bring them in. You can also delete these by right clicking on them. So right click and they will go away. And I'm going to select this one by left clicking on it. And then I can start my importing. So that's very basic, simple navigation. It actually has a memory to it, which you'll see as we import in more information. I'm going to import my first data layer here, and I'm going to do actually first one here, which is Google Earth. These are our mesh models. Nearmap has it as well. I'm going to click Import 3D. And we have all sorts of data as part of this, obviously, that we're going to go through. So this is Google Earth data, and you could see here's the credits, and it's also going to say format type, which is GLB. So all the formats here are going to be GLB, which is pretty universal. And I'm going to say confirm, and it's going to start downloading and importing. So its order is processing in the background, and it's downloading the mesh you can see on the right hand side. Now this process can take a little bit of time. I'm going to go from the Google Earth tab up here to this clock icon on the bottom. And this is my history. So another thing we've introduced in this version is that all your downloads are available here and you can come back to them another time. So it said it's finished. I can download this now. I can come to Asheville. It's showing the icon. And I'm going to click on this and I'm going to say download 3D Earth. And I can save this file. And I'm saving it in a folder that I'll come back to as a textured mesh Google Earth. And I can do that for all the different types of data sets. So I'm going to go back here. Now I'm going to go to terrain. And we have cesium, and introducing in this one, we also have Google Earth terrain. I'm going to click import terrain. It's going to show me a preview of this with the grid size. So I'm going to hit cancel here, and I'm actually going to adjust the grid all the way down to 5 meters. If it's too much, it'll tell me it's too much because we're trying to optimize the geometry here, but it's now going to do a 5.5 meter grid on here. And it's going to, again, we've added this preview system for all the data so you can see it. Here it is, the preview. You can see it's a much tighter mesh. And usually a tighter mesh will introduce a little bit more granularity to the data. Or else I'm going to hit import terrain this time for cesium as our other option. Cesium was also very good data quality. Again, you can see it's very similar to the Google Earth one. Here the credit system's a bit more normal. I'm going to hit confirm. And it's downloading and preparing that import for terrain right now. You could see that at the bottom right hand of my screen. And then if I come down to the icon here, that's our history icon, you can see I now have both of them. And this is complete. The status is complete. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to download the terrain and hit save. And this one's a JSON file that we can just, oh, I'm sorry, I have to make sure I do this correctly. It's a GLB file. You have to tag that right there. We're giving the option of GeoJSON as well for other formats. I'm going to save that in here. We're going to do a couple of more imports before we bring this into and show you how to import this into Rhino. So the first one is I'm going to go to imagery and I'm going to use Nearmap again here. for high resolution aerials, I have this set to high. I have my location set here, and I'm going to click import imagery. It's going to show me the credit cost. And this is also a new feature that we've added here is you can preview the image icons to confirm that this is what you want versus quality and for the right location. You could do about 5 previews per hour of using this, but you only need a couple to really tell that this is okay. I'm going to abuse it here and do one more. And you can see it's the kind of aerial system that it's the aerial quality that I want. I'm going to hit confirm credits. And again, it's going to start downloading it, and I'm going to go down to my history tab, and you can see that it's in my status bar and it's showing me that it's being downloaded. And then it's showing me the preview of the entire as it downloads all the tiles we could see, and that's some really good high resolution aerials. And so now I'm going to click on this in history, and I'm waiting for the download to populate here. I'm going to click on that, and then I can download that into my folder as well. So I'm going to come down to my history. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to download the imagery and then save it in here. And honestly, if I want to, just so you know, like I can go download all of these again as well. Also, if any point your browser freezes, something crashes, just keep in mind you can always come back to here. I'm going to download next. We're going to do our OpenStreetMap buildings. I'm going to click import buildings. Again, it's going to show me the preview and the number of credits. We can zoom in here. And I can start. I'll hit confirm. It's preparing the buildings for import. Again, we can go down to our history in a second. And I'm going to download those buildings. Oops, sorry, I need to do them as GLBs again. And there we have the buildings. Last one I'm going to do here is roads. Import the roads. And then we're going to start importing all these into Rhino just to show you how they all work. And then we'll come back and talk about some of the other features as well. There's the roads. Hit confirm. It's processing the order. I can go down to here. You can see that it's processing it. I'll click on that and hit download roads. Oops, sorry, again, keep doing that. GLB versus JSON. Again, giving you the options depending on what software you're using. And that's downloaded all for that in this session. I have Rhino open. I'm in perspective and in a rendered view. And I'm going to go to my folder, and you could see the information that we downloaded. And I'm just going to start dragging and dropping these right into Rhino. It says import file. I'll hit OK. My computer will chug for about a second, and then you can see there's the aerial. I'm going to go open up the next one. I'm going to go drag and drop the roads. Import file. You can see that's where it is right now. It downloaded that in there. Next, I will do the buildings. Also, I adjusted the sun shading a bit here so we can see things a bit better. And it imported and downloaded. Everything's geolocated based off the import. I'm going to do the last one here, which will be the Google Earth 3D mesh. I'm just going to drop that right in here, hit import and OK. That's going to take a second, so a lot more information. So you have to give it a second. There you can see it brought in the Google Earth 3D data as well. Very seamless, very simple to do in terms of working with Rhino and other software. There's some other data sets we can import in here if we wanted to use them. So one of them is paths. I'm going to import paths because we're back in the browser. We can add more data to Rhino. There's also railroads if they're there. Railroads, if they're available. It said there aren't any. You can also do water if it's available. as a surface, but I don't think there's any in this location. And the same with trees. That's using USGS. There's claiming there's some trees in here. We won't do those. But the last one that we're introducing also is point cloud. So I'm going to click import point cloud, saying that the area is a little too big for that. So I'm going to shrink this a little and see if that makes it a bit smaller. Guess what is it saying? Yeah, it needs to be considerably smaller. So for point cloud data, what you need to be doing actually is it's going to be doing it in smaller increments. I'm going to do that. And it's not going to show me a preview. An estimated delivery time is 10 minutes. I'm going to hit confirm that. And that will show up also in your history. We now have a history of all the data that we pulled in here. We can come back to it. And then once the status will say it's completed, you'll also get an email to your account saying that you pulled this data and that it arrived. And then you can download it. And it's actually going to give us an LAS file for this location. Again, you have to do smaller increments for point clouds, but still it's amazing because we have it available as part of the Nearmap data sets. Here's the imported point cloud in Rhino. I had to convert it. I don't have Grasshopper, so I had to convert it from an LAS file to an E57 file, E5Z file using Cloud Compare. It's a free program that lets you open and save and convert it. But if you have Grasshopper or similar, you can just import these LAS files in directly into Rhino and to other programs. So I want to go back to navigation here. Since I have my point cloud data here, but all the other sets, I'm going to click on this and you can see what it does. It actually brings me back to the original area that I used to bring in most of this data. And again, if we want to start bringing in more data that's aligned here, I can start creating these tiled map locations and start bringing in more data. So again, we'll come back here. Let's do an aerial for Nearmap here and import it in, and it'll come in. And again, we can do the previews to see them. But more importantly, I can start lining up tiles to start importing in large regional area locations, which is very helpful when you're starting to construct master planning documents or whatever it might be. So you can see it's importing that data in right now. So that's PlaceMaker 4. If you get a subscription, you get access to the SketchUp extension, the Revit add-on, and you can access data through this browser. Here I'm looking at France, downtown Paris. So that's what's new with all these things, especially remember you have the history button, you have new data sets available in here. We also have Ecopia data, which we'll do a separate video on, and as well as Nearmap mesh data as well, plus point cloud data. Enjoy, let us know what you think in the comments, and have a good day.